Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us on Sunrise at Sea this morning. Today is a beautiful Tuesday morning. Yes, the 4th of September 2022. Welcome from the Twitter Jabs. I hope you're having a good day, whatever you're doing, whether you are headed to work, whether you are back at home seated. It doesn't matter what situation it is. I mean, these are very unprecedented times. People are stressed all over the place. The conversation that Priva was having on the Twitter jabs is in regard to the protests that were happening due to the European Union resolution on the eco project. Well, I think at the moment, some of our government leaders and maybe these particular students who were protesting were actually stressed by this resolution. So yes, welcome to our views. My name is Agi Oase and we are talking about stress. So I've literally told you what exactly we are going to talk about. So have you found yourself in a situation where you're stressed, where you feel like the situation you're handling, all that you're in is beyond your control? You find yourself when you cannot eat sometimes, cannot sleep. You maybe even don't even want to talk to people. You find yourself isolating yourself from people. So yeah, we are going to give you some tips on how you can cope with stress. Joining me is Priva Elibas. Hi.
Hey. We decided to do with a good morning.
Yeah.
It's just hey.
Are you okay?
Yes.
That sounds like you're not sure.
No. You see why I have to think about it, because we're used to the usual, the generic. How are you?
What
I'm
is
okay.
the usual? Oh, the
how
usual.
are you? I'm okay. Because when I say hi Aggie, how are you? It's like I almost expect you to say I'm okay, but in actual sense, once we say these words of how are you, we should actually mean them. Instead of just saying them for the sake of getting a reply of yes, I'm fine, how are you? We need to get away from that. So that's why I took about 2 seconds to think, am I well? Yeah, I think
so.
I
If
am.
you weren't really well, would you have said it?
Yeah, I think I always say when I'm not well, I always say I'm fair. Yes, because I don't think I can be completely unwell. I mean, I have life. That's one thing to be grateful for. Yes,
So gratitude is a
I'm
must.
always fair or I'm good.
Okay.
Yes.
But
how are
over
you?
the weekend, thanks for asking.
Yes.
I'm well. Oh no. I'm partly well, partly not well, and it's for the reason that over the weekend, you know exactly what happened. I mean, Manchester United was beaten by Man City. We're beaten 6-3. So yeah, I could say that I got stressed for a few hours, but then I got over it.
It was raining goals in Manchester, and I couldn't be a happier football fan than what I was on Saturday. But hey, the pass mark is 14, and you guys are 12 points. Yes, the pass mark, the top 4 is 14. So that's why we're putting the pass mark 14. You guys are 12 points. The leaders are 21. So really, I don't know. Find out
The
what's
good thing
with
with
that
us, we always come back from, whenever we fall, we always come back from it. And yes, what gives us joy or even hope is the fact that we beat this team. I'm talking about Arsenal. So yes, that kind of gave us some consolation. So yes, I was actually stressed for a little bit because of all the banter on social media. I mean, you've been happy about, the previous wins, coming back from that international break, and then you're like, we're going to hit Man City. I can only imagine what would have happened if we'd beaten that team.
Actually, I've realized that football is one of the things that actually stresses people. You know how women talk about their makeup, their hair, their nails, and taking care of that. What that is to women is what fantasy football is to men. They pay so much attention to that. So if you ever see your brother, your cousin brother, or your man stressed out after Premier League or after a game like this, then you know where it's coming from. You know where it's coming from.
And the sad part is people are actually so much attached to these teams and to these games. Some people have actually committed suicide before. I remember the incident of a gentleman in Kenya. Some have, put up bets and then they lose them a lot of money. So yes, they find themselves in a situation where, you know what, I think I should take my life because I don't know how I'm going to recover from this. So that is one of the biggest causes of stress in the world, just so you know. Games, even arts.
Gaming is crazy.
Yeah, gaming is actually absolutely crazy. So yes, I hope that you're not stressed as a Manchester United fan today. I hope you're over it and we're looking forward for better games. But let's get to the conversation. Now, stress is how you react when we feel under pressure or threatened. Now, it usually happens when we are in situations where we don't feel we can manage or control. Now, let's actually be let's make it lighter, because I'm not a physician. I cannot diagnose, stress.
Chronic stress.
I am not a motivational speaker, but I'd like us to talk about, have you what was one experience that really got you so stressed that you didn't know how to recover?
Oh, I remember sometime back, I was pretty young, maybe like 21 or 20, yeah, or like 20, yeah, like 21 years old. And yes, I'll not get into the details, of course, of the situation, but I remember being so stressed. I was in disbelief. I couldn't concentrate. I was, how would I put it? I was in the worst stage of my life. I had my change in my appetite, change in my energy. Everything was almost hard for like a month. It took me a month. Do you know, a month of, feeling unmotivated, a month of, feelings of shock, of fear, of anger, of, confusion and not knowing what to do next. That's what I experienced. But I have a friend of mine, he's called Henry Sekiye. That one I will just, shout him out. Yes, Henry Sekiye came to my hostel room and said, Priva, dress up right now. We are going out and we're going to, talk about this, and this is going to be the final end of it. So I realized that sometimes when we go through stress, we tend to isolate. We tend to, be in our own cocoon. We are afraid of being around people and, relating with people because we are dealing with our own pain. It's like you're dealing with it and you don't want other people to see it. But it took me out, and I can tell it's one of the most of the freeing moments that I had at that particular moment. I mean, I was in a sunken place, but when he said, let's go out, let's have some fun, see the outside world and see what is actually happening, I realized that, there's more to life than just, dealing with this. So having a supportive group of friends and going out there and enjoying and taking your mind off some of the things that you think are weighing you down is important, because at that moment I thought my problem was the biggest thing that I could look at, but I forgot there are other viable options that I could turn to control my stress and be a productive member of society.
Yes, more reason why you should always have a good circle of people around you, friends, positive people, especially when you're stressed. And also I think just like you mentioned, whenever we are stressed, we tend to isolate ourselves. I'll tell you, I think for me, it was the year 2020. It should have been around that time. That must have been the worst year of my life. Of course, I'll not talk about what stressed me, but it was so bad that yes, sometimes I would want to be on my own, but then other times I felt like being alone depressed me a lot. So I wanted to be around people. Like you go out, grab a drink, eat. People are trying to, because everyone can actually tell you're not well. Someone that knows you well, they know those moments when you actually look like you're low, you're not really happy. So yeah, they tried, but I can tell you that even that did not help me in any way. It took me as a person to sit down, evaluate my source of stress and then go back to the drawing table and see how I can get out of it. So actually it was more of the realization of actually I'm stressed, I'm depressed. Sometimes you may never know. You may not really know that you are in a state of depression. You just find yourself, you don't want to eat, you don't want to be around people anymore, you don't want to go to work anymore. Everything irritates you. You go on social media, you'll see someone is out there in Santorini having fun and it's irritating you, and you're like,
make it personal.
And you take it personal because you are not happy at the moment. But let's look at some of the signs and symptoms of stress and how you can know that you're in a sunken place at the moment. Now, one of them is disbelief. Like I mentioned earlier, you might be there and you cannot even believe that you're stressed. Someone could say, you don't look well, and like, no, I'm actually fine.
Denial.
But right inside you, you know that you're not well. The other one is feelings of fear, shock, anger, sadness, worry, numbness, and frustration as well. Then changes in appetite, energies, desires, and interests. If you are someone who calls yourself a foodie, you find you cannot eat. And then you become picky about the food that you want. Some cannot go in, some, the moment you take it in, you want to take it out. If you are the kind of person that has big energy, positive vibes wherever you go, you're always the life of the party, you find you don't feel like you want to do that anymore. You just now want to be on your own, in your sunken place. But that's a bad place to be. Now, the other one is difficulty in sleeping and also having nightmares, because they always talk about the dreams that we have usually come from our subconscious mind and some of the things that we were thinking prior to falling asleep. So if you're having all these clouded thoughts of how bad life is, how you're trying to manage situations, you'll find you're having nightmares or you can actually barely sleep. Now the other one is physical reactions such as headaches, body pains, stomach problems, and skin rashes as well. Stress is not good for your skin. My ladies out there, I hope you know that. You can drink as much water as you want, but if you're stressed, it will start from your forehead. You'll
Your
start with rash
acne
and
will
then
just
acne.
be-
Yeah. And then the other one is worsening of chronic health problems. So if you have complicated underlying health issues, it can be diabetes, it can be what's the other, hypertension, it can really be anything. So if you are stressed, that gets like to the top. Your blood pressure shoots
Escalates,
up.
yeah.
Yes. So yeah, if you're that kind of person, I hope that you don't stress yourself. Sometimes, you know, you have to think about the fact that, why am I even speaking like this? Sometimes you have to think about the fact that life does not end. You know, problems will always be there. They always invite themselves. You don't invite them. Now, the other one is worsening rather of mental health conditions. If you are bipolar, your episodes, you know, bipolar people usually are always in between episodes of high energy, very happy, and then very low, very sad. So you find it's extreme, it's heightened. So yeah, avoid anything that can cause you stress so that, you know, you don't become a problem to yourself. So let's talk about how people out there can cope, the healthy ways of coping with stress, because there are so many ways you can cope with stress. Some people devise mechanisms. How do they call it? Coping mechanisms,
yes.
of but of course the bad ones, where you find you're going out in the bar,
Drugs
Monday
and
to
alcohol.
Sunday, you're taking drugs, you know, alcohol, then you start fighting, you become a nuisance, and no one even understands that, you know, you're stressed. Actually, no one wants to understand that you're stressed, and that's why you are doing what you're doing. So you cannot use that as an excuse at the end of the day. So what are some of the healthy ways that people can cope with their stress?
But I still don't know why alcoholism is such a slippery conversation in Uganda. We need to have that conversation, because Ugandans hiding behind the fact that, you know, tusimbude, tulimukusimbula, we are going out, what. We need to have that serious discussion. I feel like Ugandans are, you know, stressed out, and the best way they can cope is, you know, going out there to enjoyments and turning up, going to nyege and having fun and, you know, feeling all the buzz. But
Yes.
we'll have that conversation sometime back. But ways of how you can cope with stress: talk to others, talk to your trusted friends, have a very good supportive circle of friends. Like I mentioned earlier on, Henry came through for me, and if I don't know if he wasn't there, if he hadn't like come at the time he came through to say, you know what, Priva, this needs to be put, you know, put to an end, this needs to come to an end, I don't know what would have happened. So yes, surround yourself with a good positive circle of friends. But most importantly, identify your triggers. I like talking about triggers, because you love your phone so much. We love our phones so much, but you forget maybe the one thing that is triggering you and stressing you so much is the fact that you've seen the same class of, you know, people that you were studying with, or, you know, associating with, moving way ahead of life. So you're getting on social media, you're getting on WhatsApp, and your friend has posted, you know, how they just bought a new car, but meanwhile you don't have a job.
Yes.
Yeah, you get on your Instagram and you're seeing this friend of yours. You're in the same year, somewhere out with, you know, her husband in Santorini, and, you know, having the best time of your life. But here you are, and you don't even know where the next meal is going to come. So sometimes it's good to identify your triggers. If it is social media, take a break from, you know, from that. Stop, you know, viewing the Snapchat and whatnot. Stay away from that. The Instagram, things that will make you more stressed. Identify your triggers and put an end to that. But most importantly, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. I love exercises. Actually, it's so weird. I love
Priva, you
exercising.
do?
Yes. Surprisingly, after that incident, the one that I've been talking about, because Henry he's a sports person, he's a sports guy. So he was like, but you know, like the biggest way to bounce back and feel good, both inside and outside, is you actually getting involved in some physical fitness. I was like, but I'm already a small girl. Why would I want that? But it was like, give it a try. And let me tell you, by the way, we tend to shy away from this discussion or this conversation, but I feel like exercising is the best way you can deal and cope with stress.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. If you're out there and you're stressed, put in some time, 30 minutes of, you know, working out a day and, you know, exercising. Trust me, there's a way it helps, and this is from experience. I experienced it, I did it, and I can tell you it works 100%. Put in some exercise, some physical fitness. You will feel it both inside and the outside.
Yeah, and of course, at the end of the day, you're hitting two birds with one stone.
Oh yeah.
You're becoming physically fit. I mean, you know, it's very important. And the other one is you become also mentally fit.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with what Priva has said. Now, these are some of the main causes of stress. One of them is financial problems. The other one is work. You can be stressed at work. The other one is personal relationships. Now, this is one of the, I'll say, the biggest cause of stresses in the world. You can have your job, you can have the money, you can literally have everything, but then you have this one person who is disorganizing you in your life, and before you know it, you're stressed. Before you know it, even the money doesn't mean a thing to you. Before you know it, even the job doesn't mean a thing to you.
May that day never come where
I
money
hope that day
has
never
to
comes. I don't want
Why,
that
you have to
ever.
come before money? Unless it's my son, I have no idea.
Okay, these are some of the healthy ways that you can actually cope with stress. One of them is take breaks from watching, reading, and listening to news stories, including those on social media. That is something Priva has mentioned. The other, oh yeah, she talked about take care of yourself. Sleep as well. Taking care of yourself means sleep. Eat healthy. If you haven't been eating vegetables, it's time to, because some people stress eat. You find you're eating a lot of fast foods, junk, I don't know, you're on burgers, you are on pizza every day. Before you know it, you're coping with stress, but now you are getting out of shape. So now when that mental breakdown is gone, now you go back to the physical breakdown because you want to because you want to get back in shape. And yes, having a not so good body type can really stress you out. The other one is make time to unwind. You can go out with your friends, grab a drink, laugh about laugh about life. Very important. The other one is talk to others. Priva mentioned it. Then also connect with your community or faith-based organizations. If you're Christian, go to church. If you're Muslim, go to a mosque. And also you can find counselors that can help you cope. Avoid drugs and alcohol as much as you can, because those are triggers as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes. The other one,
stimulants, they could just, you may think, oh, they've just talked about drugs and alcohol, but any stimulant, anything that is going to stimulate your
can heighten your stress.
Yes,
and lastly, also recognize when you need more help. If you have tried all these things, if you have tried to eat healthy, if you have tried to sleep, if you have tried to go to church and realize that nothing is helping, then I think it's about time. If you can afford, seek a therapist. If you cannot afford, any trusted member of society, if you're the kind of person that doesn't want other people to know about your business, then you can find a random person, even if it's on bus, talk about it. You never know, it could actually help. But anyway, that is all we had for you and this segment of our views. Do connect with us on our socials, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at CTV Uganda. Let us know, how do you cope with stress? You could actually be able to help someone out there who needs it desperately right now. This is Sunrise at Sea. Don't blink.
Well, it's exactly 9 a.m. Yes, we've come to the end of the show this morning. My name is Priva Libaz. I've been joined by Agi Wase. We had a fantastic show. We had great content for you. We kicked off with the news updates and the sports updates, and later on went to the Twitter jabs, where we had the conversation in regard to the protests, or strikes if you would call it, that have been surrounding the EU resolution that was passed last month in regard to stopping the East Africa crude oil pipeline project. Now, the students did strike last week. Yes, we saw that happen. Of course, it has caused a divided opinion among Ugandans. Some are saying, this is gross child abuse and violation of, human rights for students to leave their schools to come and, participate in a protest whose subject matter they can barely comprehend or even understand. But of course, that's a conversation that I think is still, ongoing. People are still going to have opinions and all that. But, as the days go on, as we get more information, definitely we will be relaying that on CTV. Yes, don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at CTV Uganda. We wrapped up the show talking about stress. And what I have to say is, take care of yourself. First, take care of yourself, because if you take care of yourself, then you are better equipped to help other people who may have, other issues when it comes to dealing with stress. So take care of yourself, handle your issues. When you're well enough, you'll be able to power from your emotional cup and help others, deal with their emotions, and most importantly, cope with stress. But we'd love to hear your thoughts, so keep in touch with us. My Twitter handle is at Privalibaz. For Agi Wase, it's at Agi_Wase. So show us some love, and we would love to know that you're actually out there and watching. Well, that's all we had for you this morning. We'll be back tomorrow 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. My name is Privalibaz. Have yourselves a wonderful day.